Another DARPA test took place in the US as part of the Offset program, and at them, one operator had to cope with a swarm of over 100 robots and drones working together. The tests were conducted by Raytheon Technologies and Northrop Grumman. The result of the first test was the simultaneous control of over 130 real drones and another 30 simulated drones. The second company managed to create a system to control 174 platforms at the same time. And while doing this, the goal of Offset is to create software that combines into a single group of up to 250 different ground robots and drones. The Northrop program manager reported that their operator managed to control the swarm for up to 3.5 hours. And during that time, the robots and drones found about 600 artifacts in about 20 minutes. Researchers at the Laboratory of Robotic Systems at the Zurich Institute of Technology have developed a new control system for the four-legged robot animal. It allows the robot to combine data from cameras with information from the legs while walking to assess how to best walk on rough terrain. The system sort of mimics the sensations that humans get when walking on difficult terrain. And when the data is good, the robot plans ahead and moves quickly. But when the data set seems incomplete, noisy, or misleading, the controller gracefully degrades to proprioceptive locomotion. This means that the robot keeps moving, maybe slower and more cautiously, but does keep moving. Steep sections on slippery ground, high steps, and forest paths full of robots, the animal traversed 120 meters of challenging terrain in just 31 minutes without much effort, an excellent result for the robot. Engineers from China decided to do what Boston Dynamics failed to do in its time, namely a four-legged robot carrier for the military. According to Chinese sources, this is the world's largest bionic robot on 4 legs. It can travel at speeds of up to 10 kilometers per hour and carry 160 kilograms. The potential missions include transporting equipment and reconnaissance in inaccessible and dangerous areas. The robot runs on electricity and can reportedly navigate difficult surfaces such as sand, tall grass, or even snow. China decided to create a 5G satellite network that would compete with Starlink. The startup Galaxy Space, which has already sent its first batch of communication satellites into spaceport, has taken on the task. The project will be based on 5G communication protocols and therefore, according to developers, their network will be 5 times faster than the American version, while satellites themselves will need 11 times less than those of Starlink. Chinese developers have introduced an electric skin that will be able to provide tactile feedback between humans and robots. Most often, robot avatar operators receive only video as feedback, and in rare cases, tactile sensations are transmitted through rather complex and volumetric systems in the form of gloves. With this new development, it will be enough to stick the flexible skin patch with many sensors on the skin of the hands, and it will help control the robot remotely by providing feedback. A video of the trial is not yet available, so we're waiting for news on this project. A professor at South Korea's Ulsan National Institute figured out how to convert feces into energy and then started paying students in cryptocurrency to supply raw materials for this development. Cho Jae-won invented the cryptocurrency himself and named it Gajul. Students get 10 Gajul on their cards for each trip to the bathroom and can use it to pay for lunch at the university cafeteria. This makes sense given that the professor's lab is connected not only to toilets, but also to the university's heating system. Biogas from waste is fed into the heating system and the dry matter goes to fertilize the university's plants. And while we're at it, let's continue the toilet theme. NASA announced a competition for the invention of a toilet for Mars missions. The agency did not turn to big companies, but to ordinary inventors. They must find new approaches to waste management and conversions in 4 categories: fecal waste, garbage, styrofoam packaging, and carbon dioxide recycling. The journey to Mars is scheduled to take about 10 months, so there's going to be a lot of waste accumulated during that time. NASA's contest will have 24 winners, each receiving $1,000, and the best solution may be implemented by NASA. Neuralink has an opening for a director of clinical trials. You will have to work closely with the most advanced physicians and leading engineers, as well as the first participants in a Neuralink clinical trial. This according to the announcement. To get FDA approval, the company must first conduct trials on a small group of people and then on a broader group of participants. In a recent interview, Musk expressed cautious optimism about Neuralink, saying he hopes the technology will bring back the ability to walk for paralyzed people. Houston Mechatronics has renamed itself Nauticus Robotics and unveiled a broad line of its robotic products with the primary goal of protecting the world's oceans. The developers, which include many former NASA engineers, say they have created a sophisticated, ultra-resilient fleet of marine robots. It includes the electric-powered AquaNav-T robot and can perform underwater work with human dexterity, including repairing oil pipelines or cleaning the sea floor. The HydroNav-T robot, capable of carrying any kind of cargo or bringing other robots to the site and launching them into water in fully automatic or remote control mode. The third part of the system is an all-electric robot arm. It can work on the seafloor for as long as it wants, lifting heavy objects or easily manipulating small parts. The robot is smart enough to work autonomously, or it can be controlled by someone many kilometers away. A 222-meter robotic ferry has made its maiden voyage in Japan. The ship crossed the Japanese Sea on its own and docked without any human intervention. The ferry, Solil, moved in autonomous mode with a maximum speed of 48 kilometers per hour. The length of the route was 240 kilometers, and the ferry's navigation system includes GPS, infrared cameras for detecting and evading other ships at day or night, and an engine monitoring system as well as automated mooring and unmooring systems. KUKA has introduced a new show cell, Club KUKA, which combines entertainment and robotics with technical precision and artistic value. All in all, the show cell is home to a cool group called KJs. KR3 Agulus behind the drum sets is the beat, the KR Cybertech Nano is the DJ, and the KR Agulus acts as the light installation artist. In addition, there's LBR Iwa, who watches the robot party from the ceiling. The organizers of the Olympic Winter Games 2022 showed one of the most amazing places of the Olympic Village, the dining hall. Robots will be in charge of disinfecting and logistics, as well as delivering and cooking food. The eating areas are organized to ensure maximum protection for athletes from the risk of contamination. Shadow Robot has shown a new video of what the developers say is the most advanced robotic arm telecontrol system. The robot arms can be controlled remotely from anywhere in the world. The company claims the system provides an unprecedented maneuverability for any dangerous or complex manipulation. The robotic arms accurately mimic the movements of the user, and controlling them requires virtually no training. Too bad about the real-world applications. Researchers at the University of Michigan have unveiled a prosthetic leg with artificial intelligence and open source. Details are not yet available, but it's known that the developers have entered into an agreement with the assistive technology company Humotech. The goal of the collaboration is to accelerate the development of control software for robotic prosthesis that could potentially provide prosthetic users with the strength and natural gait of a human leg. Arrival showed how the production of its electric car is organized. Arrival's smart factory is quite compact and consists of several robotic clusters, including manipulators that perform a separate set of operations. Mobile robots communicate between the clusters. Company representatives said that they can create software for standard industrial manipulators. Korean engineers tried to accurately reproduce the structure of the human hand in the robot. The result is the ILDA, or Integrated Linkage Driven Dexterous Anthropomorphic, a robot arm with 20 joints and 15 degrees of freedom. The metal fingertips are capable of force of 30 Newton or about 3.5 kilograms. The 23-centimeter-long device weighs about 1 kilogram and is capable of controlling the applied force. During test, ILDA demonstrated the ability to lift an egg without breaking, flatten a Coke can, and even wield scissors. The developers plan to combine their robotic arm with many existing commercial robotic manipulators. This will be possible in part because all components of the system are integrated in the arm itself and there's no external parts or modules. The use of an innovative lever mechanism that allows each finger to have 3 degrees of freedom also has contributed to the project's success. Such a design may also be of interest to manufacturers of smart prosthesis. What do you think of the robotic arm? Let us know in the comments. In Berlin, a robot avatar replaces a child in class. Because of a severe lung disease, 7-year-old Joshua Martingeli cannot attend classes in person. But thanks to the robot, he remains part of his class and keeps in touch not only with his teachers, but also with his friends. For now, the robot avatars are only available in one district of Berlin, and only 4 of them at that. But in the future, local authorities hope the idea will spread. The American startup Ziva showed the first test of its single-seat Zero aircraft with an original design. During 4 unmanned flights, the developers tested controlled hovering, low-speed taxi simulations, and vertical climbing maneuvers. The apparatus for takeoff and landing flies horizontally after gaining altitude. It's expected to reach a maximum speed of 260 km per hour and a maximum range of about 80 kilometers. The company announces a development cost of about $250 and is ready to open pre-orders for the aircraft as early as this spring. BioPrint First Aid, a device capable of printing a patch on the body of astronauts from their own skin cells using special bioinks, was delivered to the ISS for testing. The device is compact and requires no external power supply. The patch at the site of the injury is created almost in real time, and inside the device, skin cells are mixed with 2 biogels to create a plaster-like coating. The technology will make astronauts less dependent on supplies of medicine from Earth. Promobot introduced its new product, Promobot Vending, a robotic complex consisting of a courier, a self-service terminal, a coffee machine, a soft-serve ice cream freezer, a carbonated drink machine, and a robotic arm manipulator to pass ice cream and drinks to the customers. Communication with customers is handled by a robotic cashier with a realistic appearance. The company is now accepting pre-orders, and according to Alexei Yuzakov, a working prototype will appear in March. The Russian government, together with IT companies, is working on the state-of-standard smart high-rise buildings. The project includes a platform for the control of all services, a system of facial and vehicle recognition, systems of control over the infrastructure of housing and utilities, as well as others. And the extended package may include robots, concierges, delivery men, cleaners, and more. And what smart services would you like to have in your home? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe to the Pro Robot channel, like this video, and don't miss any new episodes from the world of high tech.
U.S. startup Elroy Air has unveiled a pre-production version of its Chaparral hybrid cargo drone. The vertical takeoff and landing aircraft is equipped with 8 vertical and 4 horizontal propellers. The hybrid electric propulsion system provides a range of almost 500 kilometers and a payload of 135 to 225 kilograms. The cargo is housed in a capsule suspended under the fuselage, which can be easily detached or replaced with another. Autonomous cargo transportation is increasingly in demand, but there are very few heavy drones yet, so the company hopes to have a good place in the market. Elon Musk announced that Tesla will not release any new models in 2022, including the promised Cybertruck. The release of the pickup truck has been postponed until 2023, and work on a budget model for $25,000 is not underway right now. The reason, according to the entrepreneur, is that the company has too many things to do right now, and the first of them is to scale production. Recall that Musk has promised to show his own humanoid robot in 2022, and he recently said, "In time, Optimus robots may become more important than the car business." But the latter statement likely indicates that we don't see a robot or developments on it this year either. The Japanese Space Agency and Toyota are developing a vehicle to explore the surface of the Moon and Mars. The Lunar Cruiser has borrowed its name from the Toyota Land Cruiser. The lunar vehicle is expected to be ready by the end of the 2020s. The design is based on the idea that people on another planet will eat, work, sleep, and communicate with each other without leaving the vehicle. To perform various tasks on the surface, a robotic arm with interchangeable attachments to work with various tools has been developed for the Planet vehicle. According to a Toyota spokesperson, the company's mission is to take its vehicles to places it has never been before. Boston Dynamics is preparing to supply an army of robots to logistics company DHL. In the next 3 years, stretch robots will begin unloading trucks at company warehouses across North America. The deal is valued at $15 million, but the number of robots has not been disclosed. The first stretch will arrive at DHL warehouses in spring of 2022. The robots on mobile platforms can carry boxes with a weight of up to 23 kilograms, and the range of their work is virtually unlimited. Each machine is powered by its own battery and can operate for up to 8 hours without recharging. For the first time, a robot successfully performed surgery on the intestines of pigs almost completely autonomously. Previously, robotics mainly operated on bones, where the position of tissues doesn't change, or the robots were fully supervised by human surgeons. But scientists from Johns Hopkins University managed to program the robot so that it reacted in time to the displacement of soft organs and tissues inside the animal's cavity. The robot operated on 4 pigs and with a total of 86 stitches. In 2/3 of the cases, the robot stitched by itself, and the rest of the time it had to be guided manually before it tried to stitch again. When the tissues were examined 1 week after surgery, the results were comparable to those achieved by human surgeons. Researchers believe this is a big step towards automated human surgery. Meta aims to create a universal neural network that can solve different tasks. The first version is already ready. It is called Data2Vec, which is able to recognize pictures, sound, and video independently. True, so far it does this worse than specialized networks, but the fact that it immediately and independently learns from completely different types of unlabeled data is impressive. It turns out that artificial intelligence develops in each area like a human, and this is an important milestone in the development of technology. While Data2Vec is still in the early stages of development, the beginning is promising. The Red Bull 2022 event in September could feature jetpack racing. This is being negotiated by jetpack aviation head David Mayman. Pilots will compete against each other on parallel air obstacle courses to avoid collisions. Hopefully, the trials will take place as jetpacks have already proven to be reliable and their pilots have shown how spectacular such flights can be. The races could also add to the popularity of the technology, which is now mostly of the interest of the military. The Financial Times published the results of a study on the economic efficiency of robot access. In short, it's zero. Why? Because today's cab market legislators, Uber and Yandex, rely not on their own fleets of cars, but on a wide network of drivers with their own cars, scattered throughout the streets of cities and ready to take on a particular order. In the case of robot access, the company will have to buy enough cars to meet the demand in the whole area at any time. That is, when there are few orders, robot cars will be idle, and when there are many, they'll most likely be in short supply. In addition, a fleet of drones cannot work at all without people. Someone has to check, fuel, fix, and wash the cars. In the end, as the experts calculate, the technology is there, but the benefits are not. Delic US Holdings received permission from the US Federal Aviation Administration to use its Percepto drones for inspections at 2 oil refineries. The drones will fly autonomously and out of sight of observers. The drones are controlled by the Percepto Autonomous Inspection and Monitoring Platform, a comprehensive visual data management solution. The system works with any visual sensor or camera and can be used with existing drones or robots to perform autonomous tasks. DARPA announced the first phase of a new program called Racer, which will feature off-road robot races. So far, 3 teams have been announced in the project and will receive funding from the agency. They are Carnegie Mellon University, NASA JPL, and the University of Washington. The goal of robotic autonomy in complex environments with resiliency is to develop new technologies that will allow ground combat vehicles to maneuver off-road at speeds that are not limited by autopilot software or processing time. The only limitations may be related to the vehicle's mechanical capabilities and safety. In the first phase, the vehicles will be off-road buggies, similar to the Polaris MR-ZRX. In the second, teams will get US Army autonomous platforms. The minimum goal is human professional level performance. Teams will receive cars with the same set of sensors, computing power, and ROS-based software infrastructure. They will also be given a list of GPS coordinates reflecting the boundaries of the track, waypoints of the route, and the final destination. Tevel introduced a very unusual and unique solution for fruit picking by drones. It's not quite believable that such a thing exists, but still, Tevel's solution includes an autonomous ground platform to which drones are tethered by grabs. The drones recognize the fruit on the branches, pick it up with their robotic arms, and put it into a compartment on their platform. The company claims the solution will allow farmers to keep harvesting under control. Startup EctoVR has introduced an original way to walk freely and completely safely through the meta-universe. The Ecto 1 shoes with motorized wheels on the soles are the answer. The wheels rotate in the opposite direction to the user's movement, allowing them to literally walk on the spot. Combined with the VR headset, the technology creates a convincing sense of movement in virtual space. The project is still in early stages of development and is unlikely to hit the market anytime soon. However, if Ecto 1 does create an immersive experience, and given the heightened current interest in the meta-universe, the startup could quickly find an investor to refine the technology. Researchers at North Carolina State University in the United States have demonstrated a new type of flexible robot gripper that can lift delicate egg yolks without breaking them. In doing so, they are precise enough to lift a human hair. To do this, engineers again turn to the art of kirigami, as they've done before. A similar design can be used in flexible grippers and dynamically adaptable structures. The German Artificial Intelligence Research Center introduced the Cuttlefish AUV, a submarine with 2 arms. The apparatus is designed to inspect marine infrastructure. The most interesting thing about it is that when the robot arrives at the place of work, it takes an uncharacteristically upright position and releases 2 anthropomorphic arms. The robotic limbs are operated by a human being, and it's for their convenience that the boat takes on such an unusual position. It does look a little unusual. Let us know in the comments if you think this technical solution is justified or not. American engineers have developed a drone that can be launched from an air cannon. The drone is built with a coaxial design, and its propellers are folded along the hull. During launch, the cannon pushes the drone with an airstream at a speed of 16 meters per second. The drone instantly turns and unwinds the propellers, and then in a couple of seconds stabilizes its position, being already a few meters above the ground. After that, the drone is controllable and quite stable when hovering. Motorica, together with the Far Eastern Federal University Medical Center and the Zelman Center for Neurobiology and Neurorehabilitation, conducted the first operation in Russia on invasive implantation of electrodes in the peripheral nerve to establish a sensory feedback between prosthetic hands and the human nervous system. The goal of the project is to investigate the technology of sensitization of bionic prosthesis, allowing for maximum interaction with the human body. Only a few international teams have performed similar operations in the world. Now, for 2 weeks, patients will learn to perform various tasks in a new way with the help of bionic prosthetic hands. During the post-operation period, specialists will study and work out individual stimulation parameters for each patient's perception of tactile sensations, pressure, pain, heat, and cold. The Russian military has patented a new system for protection against a swarm of small drones. They proposed installing a spring-loaded platform on a drone with a multi-barrel module and 4 telescopic rails connected by a net. In the firing position, the vehicle hovers over the object with the net open, and when the swarm comes in contact with the net, it gives a simultaneous salvo from all barrels, creating a shrapnel field of continuous defeat. I personally would like to see this project come to fruition. Well, that's all we have for today, but let us know in the comments which tech story sounds the most interesting or perhaps practical to you. Remember to like the video, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss the very best in high-tech news. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you again next time.
The Japanese company Git AI has developed an advanced lunar robotic rover R1 that could perform general-purpose tasks such as exploration, mining, inspection, maintenance, assembly, and more. Last December, the robot was tested on the campus of the Japanese aerospace agency JAXA. The surface reportedly simulated a lunar surface, but whether gravity and temperature conditions on our satellite were simulated, the press release did not clarify. The robot rover Git AI R1 successfully completed all of its planned tasks. Among them were moving along a given route with overcoming obstacles in the form of rocks, in which the robot was helped by legs with omnidirectional wheels, climbing a sandy slope with a slope up to 20 degrees, and tasks to assemble solar panels, parts of which were stored in special containers. The panels would be a critical part of lunar infrastructure, and assembling them would be one of the first tasks of any lunar base mission. R1 also assembled and sealed samples of the simulated lunar surface for storage. The company said the robot will be ready for real tests on the moon by the mid-2020s. The first autonomous flight of the U.S. Black Hawk UH-60 multipurpose helicopter equipped with the Alias system recently took place. Researchers at the Virginia Tech Institute of Technology introduced a composite material capable of transforming from a flat sheet to a complex shape. It's made of an elastometer with a pattern of notches that determine what shape the material will take. Inside the elastometer sheet is a metal skeleton, which melts at 62 degrees Celsius and a flexible heating element. Heating the metal skeleton to a melting state allows the sheet to deform, and then it cools again and takes a stable shape until the next time it's heated. This change in shape could make the robot more versatile and passable. All in all, we're waiting for Terminator 2. And engineers at the Northwestern University in Boston showed a gripper design that works stably in 3 different configurations. Switching between configurations is done by shaking. Essentially, this concept combines 3 different types of gripper into one. China's AutoX robotaxi drone fleet has exceeded 1,000 vehicles. This was a monumental milestone for the company, whose autonomous fleet is already the largest in China. Interestingly, a study recently came out in the US proving the inefficiency of the business model of unmanned cabs, as we've covered in previous issues. But that does not stop the Chinese. They probably haven't even read it. AutoX has even launched a special production line to produce robotaxis with 4 levels of autonomy. All of the new robotaxis are equipped with the AutoX Gen 5 system, officially launched last July, and operate without an accompanying driver. The facility is the first of its kind in China. Do you want to go to one of the main robotics centers in Europe? Join a robotics business R22 trade fair, March 20th through the 27th. You'll be able to visit the Danish city of Odense, which has more than 300 companies and research centers. During these days, the R22 exhibition, the largest event in Northern Europe dedicated to automation technology and robotics, will be held there. Parallel to the exhibition is the Odense Investor Summit, which has raised more than 860 million euros in startups since 2015, and it will also take place on March 24th. SpaceX is actively preparing for the first test flight of the Starship with its Super Heavy rocket to orbit Earth. Ahead of the event, Elon Musk showed the operation of his giant tower with a mechanized arm called Mechazilla, which will be used to assemble the Starship before liftoff and catch the Super Heavy launch vehicle and Starship spacecraft when it lands for reuse. Musk said that the design of the Starship, which he hopes to launch into orbit this year, has been revised in terms of engines. So, Super Heavy will use 33 engines instead of 29, and Starship will use 9 engines instead of 6. The engines themselves will also be replaced by a new version of the Raptor 2, production and testing of which is already underway in Texas. And although at the moment there are problems, namely combustion chambers of engines with up to 230 tons of thrust melts during operation, the founder of SpaceX hopes that soon it will be resolved and the company will start producing by the next month for 7 to 8 engines per week, and by the end of the year to produce each month 1 Starship and Super Heavy. The entrepreneur also presented a new animation of the colonization of Mars. He accompanied it with the words that Starship will reduce the cost of delivery of cargoes into space tenfold, up to $100 per kilogram or even lower, which will make the idea of colonization much more feasible, given that the first colony will require about 1 million tons of resources from Earth. After switching to autonomous mode, the helicopter performs its own pre-flight check and starts the engines, cranking the propellers, and takes off without any crew on board. The first unmanned mission lasted 30 minutes and was carried out with the usual speed and altitude for helicopters of this type. In doing so, the helicopter navigated through a simulated cityscape, avoiding imaginary buildings and replanning the route in real time. Black Hawk then performed a series of maneuvers on its own and came back and landed. The Netherlands APO.com Group, a leader in automated online pharmaceuticals in the country, showed how its warehouses are set up. Integrating right-pick robots from right-hand robotics, which are responsible for picking items, into AutoStore's automated cube storage system helped automate the warehouse's 24/7 operation. Right-pick robots pick and scan items as they receive incoming and full outgoing orders, processing thousands of these orders per day. It's worth noting that the area of the warehouse is 20,000 square meters. The potential of the Chinese meta universe is estimated at $8 trillion. Following global trends, local IT giants such as Tencent, NetEase, and Alibaba are investing in this direction. You can see more about the meta universe in the video clip here in the link. Interestingly, many areas of the metaverse involve the use of cryptocurrencies, which are totally banned in the People's Republic of China. Instead, China is actively promoting the state's digital currency, the digital yuan. Malware for hidden mining and cryptocurrency theft began to spread under the guise of NFT tokens. The point is that the token of this type can store content outside of the blockchain, in which case it is possible to create a token in such a way that when purchased, it can represent a picture, and after being sold, it can be used for other tasks. Researchers at the Harvard and Emory University are conducting an amazing experiment with a bio-robot. The robot in the fish video is constantly moving, developing, improving its characteristics, and living its life for more than 100 days. The cells for the robot were grown from human heart stem cells and upgraded to work in a new capacity. They are located on both sides of the flexible plate, and an electromechanical connection is established between them. Layers of cells contract and stretch synchronously, and the connecting node sets the frequency and rhythm of the contractions. During the experiment, the cells continue to mature, which increases the amplitude of oscillations and consequently the speed of the robot's movement. By day 100, it was almost as fast as a real fish. RoboCat Biddle has learned to walk on ceilings thanks to its very light body. That's it for today. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and don't miss any new releases from the world of high technology.